YouTube, sports are back. Starting it off with baseball. They started their season tonight. It was Nats versus Yankees, Giants versus Dodgers, and Scott, I gotta be honest. I kind of thought it was a letdown. I kind of thought that there was so much hype coming in to today, coming into these games, and you could feel the hype. I don't normally watch full baseball games from start to finish unless it's the playoffs. I watched two full baseball games from start to finish. Granted, the first one was rain delayed out, and the second one turned into a blowout so quickly. If you're Major League Baseball, this is the worst start you probably could have hoped for, if we're being completely honest. You have the Blue Jays, who don't even have a team. It's a whole nother debacle. Then you have these two games, which honestly weren't that good. I mean, the Giants-Dodgers game was good for at least a good portion of it. I'm a Giants fan. I wasn't too happy with the result. But I don't really see how this is... It's good for baseball to be back, but I don't see how this is a good case scenario in any sense of the word, because honestly, probably was the worst start that I could have imagined for baseball as a whole.
Well, not to mention you have all of those things you mentioned, and then you've got Juan Soto this morning, star of the Washington Nationals, defending champs. They're in your first game of the season. Everybody's going wild for it. You want the best player in that game, and, he tests positive for COVID. And I think that's just the first of many obstacles we're going to see in this MLB season. It's going to be how many guys do get COVID and how many guys can the MLB put up with realistically.
Yeah, and not only did Juan Soto test positive, Clayton Kershaw was supposed to start. He was the big ticket item for the second game.
Well, no, that one is supposedly injury. Now,
yeah,
who
no,
knows
it is.
if that's
it is
entirely
injury.
true.
It's a back injury.
Okay,
It's
okay.
not. It's not. It's
I
not
thought you were
COVID.
saying he had COVID. Okay.
No, but two of the biggest stars that were supposed to be playing today, they ended up not playing. They ended up being scratched for illness or injury reasons, but they didn't play. So,
yeah,
baseball star players not playing. Then you have a rain delay that the game ends just out of the blue. 5 innings, boom, we're done.
And it really started out of nowhere. It was just like kind of
Yeah,
nice
it was
game,
just like,
and all of a sudden it's raining.
going to rain. Let's break down each game more individually. Let's start with the first game, the game that was really supposed to be the blockbuster, starting off opening day, opening night, Yankees, Nationals, the defending champions versus pretty much everyone's pick in the AL right now. This was supposed to be a marquee matchup, and I thought that the start of the game actually really lived up to the hype. It had big players making some big-time plays. Giancarlo Stanton, he went off. Aaron Judge played well. So did a lot of players on the Nationals, especially
Good
Scherzer.
outing from Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole in his first start as a Yankee, he was the big ticket signing this offseason, maybe the biggest ticket signing this offseason.
Oh yeah, he had to be.
Yeah, maybe like Rendon if you're.
No. I'm gonna go with Cole on that one. He was a big ticket.
Yeah.
Everybody knew he wanted out. It was all about who could give him the most money, and of course, New York steps up as they always do.
Yeah, like I thought it was pretty much the best start to the game that you could hope for, and then everything started to go downhill. But let's go into the actual game. So
great start offensively from both sides. Really, they were swinging the bats well. Yeah.
Yeah, I expected it to be. I'm not sure what I expected. I knew it was going to be either offensively lopsided or defensively lopsided. Mm-hmm. And it turned out to be offensively lopsided, but also in a weird way, defensively lopsided as well. Because first inning, you get the home run from Giancarlo Stanton, which was, I'm pretty sure, call Buzz Aldrin, because that was gone. That was to the moon. That was a moonshot. And then you look at Adam Eaton the very next inning, and he hits one of his own. And it looked like they were just going to be trading blows back and forth, knockout punch after knockout punch. And even then, you had Max Scherzer, who he was giving up these homers, but he also struck out 11 batters. He only pitched to, I think it was 15 or so.
Well, that's been his game. You know, he won Cy Young the year that he gave up the most home runs in the majors. Like, that's been his game his whole career. He's not afraid to attack the strike zone. He's not afraid to be like, yeah, I'm here, swing the bat. I don't mind the style at all, but you know, when you're playing teams like the Yankees, you're going to get raked a little bit.
Yeah, that's what Max Scherzer brings to the table. He is a punch-out guy. He's a guy that will be getting the strikeouts. We see it. It's not even a rare occurrence anymore to see him get 15 plus, even close up to 20 strikeouts in a game, in an outing, because that's just how good he is. That's how dominant that slider is that he continued to go back to.
Yep.
He continued to work that slider tonight, and it was working for the most part. So that is what Max Scherzer brings to the table. It also it brought up his pitch count a little bit, but he pitched well. He pitched well against the Yankees, giving up a few runs, giving up a few long bombs. It's not out of the question. It's something that you probably expect. And to Giancarlo Stanton, who looks like he's getting back into form a little bit, to Aaron Judge, who started out the season pretty well, let's transition to the Yankees because their bats were exquisite.
They're good. They're going to be really, really good. I think it comes down to the pitching with them. How healthy can they stay? How can those back-end guys in the rotation do? How well does Garrett Cole do? There's a lot of X factors with their arms, but their bats are obviously crazy. Aaron Judge, great start to the game. You know, kind of a disappointing outing for Torres, you know, but, you know, just first game of the season.
It's one
No
game.
big deal. He's Gleyber Torres. He had a great year last year. I really like him. I think he's going to be an MVP candidate this year. And then obviously you have Stanton crushing that home run on like the 8th pitch of the game or something. So, you know, that was a really awesome showing from those top guys from the Yankees today. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can bring to the table this season. And they look like they're going to be a really good team. I think they're absolutely going to live up to the hype this season. Will they win a World Series? I don't know, but they're going to be damn good.
We talked about what happened during the game. We talked about how the Yankees ended up winning 4-1, 6 innings. Let's talk about what happened around the game. Let's start a little bit before the game with the first pitch that was Dr. Anthony Fauci. That might go down as one of the worst first pitches we have ever seen. It wasn't 50 Cent bad.
You know,
it wasn't 50 Cent bad. But
he's an older guy. He's an older guy. I heard something about him being like a captain on a really good basketball team when he was younger. You know, I think it was like a college basketball team, and they won a championship or something. So, you know, Fauci was an athlete back in the day. He's older now. He's under a lot of stress right now. You know, people like to question him. They like to dislike him. You know, I don't really want to get into that, but, you know, he has a lot on his plate right now, doing a lot. I don't care if he misses a first pitch real badly. It was horrendous, sure, but I didn't want to roast the guy over it. It definitely was sad to see, but...
Yeah, you might not care, but the internet certainly does. And the fact that it happened in the first game of the year, the fact that it was the first game of the year, the first game in the longest hiatus of MLB history, that was the first pitch? Are you kidding me? Come on. That's amazing. It's amazing for everyone except for Anthony Fauci, because that was the greatest start. It got the Instagram, got the Twitters, it got him blazing. It was amazing. Bleacher Report was on top of it. But let's get into that's more
real quick. Did you see that Mariano Rivera interview with Trump today? They played it before the game on ESPN. They were at the White House playing some catch. Trump was playing with Mariano. Did you watch that?
I watched a little bit of it. You told me a little bit earlier in the day to go check it out. I checked it out for a little bit. I didn't end up watching the entire thing, but it was comedy.
See, I was worried because they didn't show any of Trump's actual throws. We got to see Fauci throw, but we didn't get to see Trump actually throw. We saw him catch. He looked confident in that department. But now we got to know who's the better thrower of the baseball.
Yeah, the
I think we've
hand-eye
got
coordination for Trump was okay, but we need to see the arm power.
We do.
Does he have a little two-seam? Does he get a little 12-6 curve? I don't know what he brings to the table. But okay, we talked about Fauci. We talked about Trump. Let's talk about someone who is just utterly, in my opinion, not good at his job. Someone who I just...
Oh, are we throwing out just were you just throwing out names of people who aren't good at their jobs?
No.
Political statement? It's kind of conflicting there.
You're a piece of shit. I'm cutting that out. This is going to be like 18 cuts. Fuck you.
That's 3.
All right, so we talked about Fauci. We talked about Trump. Now let's get into someone who's part of the game who I just really think is bad at his job. And that's Alex Rodriguez. I hate him as a color commentator. I love Matt Vasgersian. He's one of the best in the game at announcing, especially baseball. But Alex Rodriguez, man, dude, he can't hold a conversation. He's not good at his job. Matt Vasgersian is trying to carry that broadcast, and Alex Rodriguez is just out here doing nothing. He's not good. He doesn't know how to string 2 sentences together about the game of baseball.
I don't mind him because I think he does bring one unique thing to the table, and that's the perspective of a player who actually had a really good career. It's not that often that we get color commentators that actually have like Hall of Fame level careers. So, that kind of insight, that's cool. So I don't mind him for that, but you're right. He can't really hold a conversation in the booth. He's not that articulate. I don't mind A-Rod, but I don't hate him either.
Yeah, and the problem is he doesn't translate what he sees on the field, or at least he doesn't know how, or he just doesn't articulate it well. From what he sees on the field and translate it well into his actual commentary. And that's something, we're both announcers, we both call games. That's something that I really notice, and it happened too with the Giants game. I don't remember who the color commentator was there. There were 3 of them. There were 3 guys in the booth. There was a play-by-play and then 2 color guys. One of the color guys, it really just seemed like he was just like out of it. He couldn't string sentences together. He was worse than A-Rod. And like maybe it's the atmosphere. Like as broadcasters, it's so much easier being at the venue, being surrounded by the atmosphere than it is sitting on your couch, in your chair, and watching it. But I have a gripe with the commentators today. It wasn't great.
Well, and we also saw really poor performances from these scrimmages that have been happening over the past couple of days. I was really impressed with the Clippers play-by-play guy. He's I think it's his first year. He's only 22 years old, just graduated college. First play-by-play job is with the Clippers. I guess his dad was the play-by-play there before. He did a great job, but everybody else has just been horrendous. The Lakers game was bad. The Nuggets game was one of the worst professional broadcasts I think I've ever seen. There have been some really bad broadcasts coming out of this restart. But, like you said, that probably does have a lot to do with the fact that now we're sitting behind couches, we're sitting behind screens, rather than being at the venue with the fans in the background, seeing everything, smelling everything, sensing everything. That really does help a lot when you're calling a game.
Yeah, let's move over to the Giants game, the Giants-Dodgers game. I will call it the Giants game because I am a Giants fan. But I'm also realistic.
I didn't know you were.
Wait, you didn't know? You didn't?
I didn't know you were a Giants fan.
You didn't notice that?
Did they win the World Series?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
They did it in 2014.
Oh.
They also did it in 2012.
Oh, that's cool.
Wait, I think they might have done it one more time this decade. Hold on. Wait a second. Let it come to me. Oh.
2016.
No, 2010.
Oh, no. Okay, so are they going to win it in 2020?
It's not the greatest start. I have some problems with what happened. I think that it's something we haven't seen from the Giants in a long time.
Wait, real quick before you start, I want to say one thing. Have fun with Kapler. I'm just going to leave it there. That's my Giants take. Have fun with Kapler.
Yeah, I am starting to support that notion because This is something we haven't seen from the Giants in a long time. Bruce Bochy's been the manager of the Giants for a long time. He retired, and we're starting to see a lot of mistakes. The Giants have always been a team that never really had the power in the bats, but would always consistently get on base and had the pitching staff to back it up, and then just wouldn't really make that many errors defensively. So it allowed for them to win these low-score games. That's not going to be the case, at least from what we saw in one game this season, because the Giants made so many mistakes that they just never, ever make. There was, especially the seventh inning. Man, the seventh inning was atrocious. There was a play up the middle. First, let's start it out with the first mistake. And that was Kapler taking out Brandon Crawford, who might be the best defensive shortstop of the decade. He's made the Gold Glove team, I think, 4 or 5 times. He's probably the best defensive shortstop in the game right now.
Yeah.
Or at least one of them. And he takes him out of the game in the 7th inning for a pinch hitter. Fine. Whatever. Take him out of the game for a pinch hitter. I hate the move. He's one of your star players, but maybe it was a bad matchup. Lefty pitcher, lefty hitter. I don't. Maybe that's the right move offensively, but then defensively, you put in guys that just have absolutely no experience. I wrote down just the atrocious errors from this game, just in the final few innings. There was a Dubon to Solano. They were the middle infielders. There was a misplay on a ground ball with the bases loaded where they could have easily got the out at first. They tried to throw it to second because the shift was on and the runner got in safe. Then there was a ground ball to second base and Solano tried to throw home to get out Mookie Betts. He was safe. They could have easily gone to first. Granted, that is trying to stop a run. Granted, it was a tight game at that point. But get the sure out at first when there's going to be more runners in scoring position. Then they put in a new pitcher, Jimenez. He walked in a run. And then in the 8th, there was a pretty, I'm not going to say routine, but it was a fly ball that would have been caught by most Major League players, and it was just missed in left field. So, and there was a play where there was a runner on third base, and he got caught in a pickle off of a infield line drive, which should never happen in the major leagues. You should never be caught out in a pickle in the major leagues because you're a major league ball player, and if a ball is hit on the line, you freeze or you get back to the bag. You don't continue to run home to try to score a run. It seems simple to me. It seems like it should be very clear and very obvious what should happen. It's you have made the major leagues. You should be able to play Major League Baseball at a professional level and not make countless errors. And dude, if this is going to be the next 59 games, I just might stop watching baseball. Because
dude, don't give up yet. Don't give up yet. Come on. I think every team has a shot this season. Like, the field is even. No one really knows what's going to go down with injuries or COVID tests. Like, this season's going to be crazy. We're going to see a lot of crazy stuff happen. I don't think this season is going to go down exactly the way we thought it was going to go down. I do think it'll be a fun season, though. I'm excited to watch these teams. It's going to be a very interesting year.
Yeah, each team has a little bit of a learning curve period. The Giants played relatively well for the first 6 innings. Excuse the base running error on third base. I forget exactly who it was, but who even cares? The pitching in this game was tremendous. Both the starters were absolutely phenomenal. Cueto, 1 earned run. The rookie for the Dodgers, Dustin May, he made a tremendous debut.
Yeah.
Big stage on opening day, rookie. He was throwing hundreds. He was making batters swing and miss. He was pitching very, very well.
The Dodgers have found a great balance of veterans and guys in the system, so they're coming up now, and they've always got talent flowing in and out of their team. It's been that way for like 7 years now for them. They've been a pretty good franchise. They just haven't been able to get all the way.
The Dodgers, they have the bats. They can hit for power. They can hit for contact. They have the speed on the base paths. They're a well-rounded team. They've got guys who can do pretty much everything. Their defense, pretty good. They have to sort of fit some people in places where they don't necessarily belong just because they need to keep their offense running. But that speaks to the versatility. They have guys that can play at almost every position. Max Muncy can play everywhere on the infield. They have guys that can play infield and outfield. It's a good, well-rounded team. The one thing I do want to talk about before we close this out is Mike Yastrzemski. Mike Yastrzemski is the most valuable player in baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
No doubt about it. He will win the MVP this year. Actually, he won't win it. He will deserve it. Because he is the only player on this Giants team that is probably worthy of an MLB contract. And if the Giants get any wins, it is going to be 100% because of Mike Yastrzemski. And Mike Yastrzemski is also my favorite player. And he hits for contact. He hits for relative power. And he's a pretty good defender. Mike Yastrzemski, if you're sleeping on him now, you should probably stop because he's going to be a really good player down the line.
We need to get the MVP odds on him and maybe make a move on that.
Yeah, let's put some down on him because Mike Yastrzemski, I'm liking it. Carl, he was a good player. Carl, Hall of Famer. Mike, Hall of Famer is the Yastrzemski blood. That's something you got to be asking. Maybe Mike's grandchild will also be making the Hall of Fame. We don't know yet. All we know is that Mike Yastrzemski is the most valuable player in baseball.
All right. I can't wait to see it this season. I'm ready.
Yeah, but that's going to do it for the recap on tonight's games. The Nationals fell to the Yankees. The Dodgers crushed the Giants because the Giants can't get out of their own damn way. 4-1 in 6 innings in the first game, 8-1 in full time in the second one. That's going to do it for this breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.